A few months ago, I played my very first Pokemon game. That's right, never before had I played a game from the franchise, and I decided to Nuzlocke Black 2. I spent weeks losing Pokemon, leveling up, and restarting before I was finally able to complete the game. Yes! After finishing, I realized I was hooked. The challenge that Nuzlocke provided was so difficult, but so satisfying to complete. But I knew, if I was going to do this again, I was going to have to make some changes. Before we get into that though, let's make sure everyone knows the rules. One capture every round. When a Pokemon dies, it's out of commission for the rest of the run, and no potions or healing items mid-battle. Now those are the normal rules that I followed on my first Nuzlocke. Here's what we're adding this time. Since leveling my Pokemon was not only mentally draining, but wasted a ton of stream time, I'm leveling with rare candies now. This is incredibly common in Nuzlockes, and to make it more fair, a level cap is implemented. This means that before a gym or any major battle with your rival, whatever it may be, your Pokemon cannot be higher than the person you're facing's highest Pokemon. If that doesn't make sense, basically, if I'm fighting my rival and his highest Pokemon is level 53, none of my Pokemon can be higher than level 53. Simple. I'm also changing the battle style to set mode. My first Nuzlocke was on switch mode. If you don't know what that means, if you're fighting a battle with a gym leader again or a trainer, whatever it is, and their Pokemon dies, you have a chance to switch your Pokemon out before their new one comes in, which basically gives you a free switch that would normally burn a turn. On set mode, however, your Pokemon stays in, and if you want to swap it out, you have to burn a turn, most of the time eating an attack because of it. With my rules set, it was time to head in to my next Nuzlocke of Pokemon. Oh, wait, I forgot one more rule. To spice up the game choices, and because I didn't really know exactly what game I wanted to play next, I was leaving it up to complete chance. I filled this wheel with every single Pokemon game up to the Switch generation, and then gave it a spin. And what we are going to do is we're going to commit to one. Whatever one it lands on, we have to do. I cannot re-roll it. I cannot choose a new game. We have to play the one it lands on. Let's spin it up. I don't mind Fire Red. With my game decided, it was time. On November 29th, 2024, I began my second ever Pokemon playthrough with a set mode Nuzlocke of Fire Red. As I made my way through the game for my first time, I learned some things. I thought my Black 2 playthrough had taught me all I needed to know. Boy, was I wrong. I honestly think I'm just terrible at Pokemon, because I was losing Pokemon to the dumbest shit left and right. I finally started to fix my mistakes and made it all the way to the final battles of the gym, the Elite Four. It didn't go too well, but on my next run, I knew that if I had made it to the end once, I could do it again. The most important part of the run comes up right at the beginning, our rival name. Yo, Pichu, thank you for the resub. Goated, I don't know why I didn't make any noise. There we go. And this stupid fucking thing is still not using the right image. That's cool. That's great. Peeko still can't work tech. I'm not Peeko. I can work tech. I just struggle with it sometimes. I'm actually going to name the rival My starter Pokemon is determined by the last digit of my Pokemon trainer ID, which is a random number. This time, it was a 9. That meant that I got Charmander, probably my favorite starter out of the three because there is such a severe lack of fire types in this game. After winning my first rival battle against which to my knowledge is impossible to lose if you just spam attack, I encountered my first addition to the team. Okay, we got a Pidgey off rip, which is honestly pretty goated. Shortly thereafter, I signed a Rattata on Route 2 and a Mankey on Route 22. Mankey was a huge addition to the team, since fighting type can be incredibly strong throughout the entire game. I headed into Viridian Forest to grab a Weedle, which I evolved into a Kakuna and then a Beedrill. You know the Pokemon is some ass if you can evolve it before you even hit the first gym. Speaking of the first gym, my Mankey named Guts was a huge buff to the team for another reason. This is a rock-type gym, and since my starter was Charizard, having a fighting type advantage could make this significantly easier. After Guts and Poison wiped out the gym trainer, it was time to face Brock. Guts was able to karate chop his Geodude in 2 hits, and then had enough health left to take out the tanky-ass Onix as well. Brock only had 2 Pokemon in his team, so Gus absolutely swept for our first gym badge. After taking out some trainers on Route 3, which took way longer than it should have, I was able to snag the next addition to my team, Spearow. With my team slots finally full, I headed into an area type of the game I have a burning hatred for: caves. Although there are way too many random encounters in here, I was able to catch a Zubat. After getting through the hellish trainer battles and more encounters, I snagged a dome fossil I could get a Pokemon out of later in the game, and finally escaped. Route 4 was home to an Ekans that I tried to capture. Ekans more like we killed it, so. Next up was Cerulean City, where the next gym leader was waiting for me. I evolved Rattata into Raticate and Spearow into Fearow, who got instantly swapped out for a Zubat that had better typing. With that done, I headed into the second gym, which was Water type. Raticate's Hyper Fang and Zubat were able to take out the trainers without too much issue, and then I squared up with the gym leader, Misty. Savage's Hyper Fang absolutely demolished her Staryu, and Savage was damn near taken out with a Water Pulse from her Starmie. It luckily got a Hyper Fang off without dying, so I brought in Pie to do some damage with Gust. Pie was also subjected to the Water Pulse barrage, so I swapped into Poison to use Poison Sting. Misty had just used her full heal, so the poison proccing on Starmie was huge. The next Water Pulse attack ended up confusing Poison, but he was the surprising MVP of the battle, landing his Twin Needle through the Confuse for the kill. Holy moly! God damn! With Misty down, I received my second gym badge and headed to my next route, where I was rudely greeted by my rival. Savage was able to do some serious damage to the Pidgeotto with Hyper Fang, and even though he must have closed his eyes because the shots he was whipping were absurd, a quick attack took it out. I switched into my starter for the Rattata, who was able to take it out with an Ember Quick Claw combo. Unk then sent out a starter, so I swapped to Bat, who's actually getting cooked by Squirtle. Bat got swapped out for Poison, who just stalled out until Poison Sting actually poisoned Squirtle. Pie swapped in to finish him off with a Gust, and then did the exact same thing to Abra. Unk scurried off, and my path was now wide open. Well, open if you ignore the unavoidable bridge with 5 back-to-back trainer battles. My team was able to cook through them without too much issue, and then I got a bit distracted. Playthrough my roommate is a femboy. Now that sounds like something I can get behind. I don't know if this is like early access or like a closed beta, but it doesn't seem I have access to the newest addition to what I've now learned is the femboy series of games. Because there's more that, I mean, maybe my bestie is a femboy streamer. Like, maybe we could do this. I made a femboy squirt. I got gooned by a femboy. Is this what we're talking about? After a brief search on the Steam store, it was back to the bridge. Taking out the last of the trainers wasn't too hard, and I captured an Oddish on Route 24 right past the bridge. Route 25 wasn't much farther down the road, where I caught a Caterpie. Wonderful additions to the team. I know. Up ahead was a massive slew of trainers I had to fight, and I got stuck here for way too long fighting a trainer and then running all the way back to the Pokemon Center to heal so I didn't accidentally lose a team member to a random crit. I finally took out every single trainer. I know I can avoid them, but I'd rather fight them now than be running back through the area when all my Pokemon are low health and have to fight one. I headed into this house at the end where some scientist had accidentally turned himself into a Pokemon. I helped him use the teleporter cell separator, and he came back out as a human. As thanks, he gave me an SS Ann ticket, and a new route had opened in Cerulean City. I had to square up with a Team Rocket member, and after whooping his ass with poison, I followed this new path. It led me to Route 5, where I could take an underground tunnel over to Route 6. There was a much faster way to get between these areas just by going through this bridge here, but the guard was apparently too thirsty to let me go through. Great. At the end of Route 6 was Vermilion City, where I spoke to a fishing enthusiast and received my very own fishing rod. Using this, I was able to catch a Magikarp, which is absolutely unusable by itself until it evolves. With Gyarados, an incredibly strong Pokemon, my team was starting to look really nice. I also evolved Oddish into Gloom, and then headed down to the SS Ann. This location can be a bit of a pain, since it has an insane amount of trainers you can run into. The goal is to make it to the captain, who's in one of the many rooms, so if you end up in the wrong room, you normally end up in a trainer fight. My pathing here was insane, and I accessed the depths of my memory to route to the exact room I needed to find. But of course, before we could enter, Unk was waiting to test us yet again. Savage was able to Hyper Fang the Pidgeotto to death without losing too much health, and just do the same thing to the Raticate mirror match. Kadabra and War Turtle were up next, and even they were no match for the Hyper Fang. After learning my Raticate was low-key a unit, I headed up the stairs to rub the seasick captain's back. Might be in the wrong profession, buddy. As payment, I received the HM cut, which allowed me to chop down the little trees I had seen all around. I taught it to Eradicate, like he wasn't overpowered enough already, and could now access the third gym. Whoever created this gym should be eradicated. I don't know how any child playing this game was supposed to figure out this dog shit puzzle. There's 2 trainers right inside, but they're an absolute joke. The real challenge comes from the complete RNG-based puzzle that follows. One of the 15 trash cans has a lever that spawns in it. Once you press that one, it deactivates one of the 2 beams blocking your path onwards. And to deactivate the second beam, you have to take a complete gamble and guess one of the adjacent trash cans to the first one. If you get it wrong, too bad. Both of the buttons reset positions. This one.
50-50.
Bro, this game is so bad. It's so bad. After way too long, the door was finally open, and it was time to fight the third gym leader, Lieutenant Surge. Before I did that, however, I swapped AI out for Math the Caterpie, since this was an electric gym, and evolved him up to Butterfree. Now it was time to fight. I led with my starter, who was able to Ember the Voltorb to death without too much effort. Surge sent out Pikachu next, who was wiped by a freak Ember crit one-shot. Next was the ace of Surge's team, an annoying-ass Raichu. The issue is that this thing loves spamming Double Team, massively raising its evasiveness, and then just shredding my team when they can't land attacks. I got an Ember off before it could use too many Double Teams, but it sadly did not proc Burn, which I wanted to turn this into a stall until it burned to death. Right after this, it started looking rough, with Raichu hitting Pichu with Paralysis, giving him even more time to use Double Team. Pichu started taking some serious damage, but he did get off another Ember before I swapped him out with Guts, who got shredded instantly with a Shockwave. Plum got sent out as a replacement, and because of his resistances, was able to tank a Shockwave. I gambled on a Poison Powder, which luckily landed, and the fight was now on a timer. I could just wait until the Raichu died to poison damage. So I forgot this gym leader not only had a full restore to get rid of the poison, but still had a super potion to get back to full health. Since they do call me the gambler, I went for Poison Powder again, which landed again. Now it was just a matter of time until he died. I had to switch out Pokemon a few times, and Butterfree did end up going down, but Raichu finally fainted, and the third gym was officially complete. After a bit of team rework to fill the newly emptied slots, I headed into Diglett's cave. Can you guess what I caught in here? I also backed out of the cave to get my Route 11 capture, snagging a Drowsy for my box, and then I got lost. I need to get to Route 9, which is not at all where I am. I will tell you right now, this is not at all the right way. For an insanely long time. Viridian? Where was Vermilion? What? Now I'm confused. While attempting to gain my bearings, I walked into this random house in Pewter City to find this random thing of Amber, which I could hatch into a Pokemon later. After spending a concerning amount of time backtracking through areas I had already been to, I finally ended up in the right zone. On Route 10, I caught a Voltorb and then got to head into another one of my favorite locations. Caves! Except this time, it was pitch black. Bro, where the fuck am I? I did catch a Machop, which was a great fighting type Pokemon, and then hell itself ensued. Oh my lord! Oh my god, 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 oh my god. This area is the bane of my existence. I actually would, it needs to be abolished from the game. Freedom awaits. Where is it? Oh. They're gonna give me an encounter on the last block of the cave, bro. They're BMing me here. After finally escaping the horrendous cave, I made it to Sapphire City. Here I could access Route 8 and subsequently Route 7. This is where I found one of the few fire types in the game, a Growlithe. After catching it and naming it Backup, since it was quite literally my backup if my starter died, I finally arrived in Celadon City. Luckily, the gym here was a grass type. Backup and my starter were able to not only shred through the trainers in here, but also destroyed 2 of Erica's 3 Pokemon. Her strategy mostly revolved around spamming poison and paralysis moves, so I gave my fire types a break and sent in Seth to finish off her Vileplume. With that down, we'd officially completed the 4th gym. It was now time to explore Celadon City, the gambling town. I had some previous experiences here. Yes, give me more. I need more. I'm too good. I need to get out of this seat. Oh my fucking god, I'm losing my mind. I need to leave. But this time I was able to keep it very professional, only gambling enough to get 2,800 coins, securing a Dratini from the shop. Of course, I had to name a gamble. This thing didn't fully evolve until level 55, meaning I wouldn't be able to use it until the second battle in the Elite Four, who got thrown into the box for a long time. I started leveling up my Pokemon and hit a huge landmark, because this is the first time in any of these runs we have ever gotten our starter alive long enough to get its final evolution. With my Pokemon all level, I headed back into the casino to reveal the secret hidden underneath, a Team Rocket hideout. This place is basically just a glorified cave. There's unavoidable trainers, random movement puzzles, and random items that Rocket Grunts will drop to allow you to progress farther. After clearing the whole place out, I got access to the elevator at the back, which I took downwards to reach the big boss of Team Rocket, Giovanni. Let's just say Plum fucking destroyed his entire team. With that laughable battle done, I did a bit of team alteration. I grabbed Shock and evolved him into Electrode, and then headed into the back door of this apartment building, which led me to the roof. Here, I got an Eevee, and then headed through the front door instead to find an old woman that gifted me some tea. With this, I can now go through those covered bridges that served as shortcuts between towns without the guards stopping me because they were thirsty. Before I used these to explore some more, I headed into the Celadon City market where I bought a Thunderstone from one of the vendors that I plan to use on Eevee later on. With that bought, I headed through the covered bridge back to Lavender Town. Defeating Giovanni earlier in the Rocket Hideout had granted me an item called the Silph Co. With this, I could now enter a new location in Lavender Town, Pokémon Tower. I was actually always able to enter this tower, but the Silph Scope allowed me to see the ghost types inside, and consequently catch them. But before I was able to find a new team edition, I had to fight my rival Unk once again. Shock was able to decimate the Pidgeotto with a Spark, and everyone else too. With our rival down, I was free to explore the tower, where I caught a Cubone. I progressed through it fighting trainers until I came to the final staircase, where I had to fight a Marowak, the ghost that was haunting the tower. Plum was able to Giga Drain this thing without too much issue, and I could now head to the top of the tower. Some Team Rocket Grunts were waiting for me, and taking them out cleared the path to this old man. When I told him I had freed the Marowak's ghost, he invited me to his house. I received the Pokeflute, which opened up some new routes for me, and it was time for another one of my least favorite locations. Silph Co is pretty much a bigger version of the Team Rocket hideout we found in the casino, which is basically just a cave. I just roamed around for 30 minutes until I found this random key card lying in one of the hallways. This allowed me to unlock these massive gates, which led me back to my biggest op, Unk. His levels were a bit higher now, but the same basic strategy applied. Shock took out Pidgeot with Spark. Next up was Charizard to type match the Growlithe, and after nearly losing Charizard to my incompetency, I swapped out to Plum. He could have done some nice damage with Giga Drain, but Blastoise used Bite and Plum unfortunately flinched. That meant it was Savage's turn. I just spammed Hyper Fang with him until Blastoise dropped. Unk sent out Execute, so I threw in Backup to just one-hit it with Flame Wheel. Last up on Unk's roster was an Alakazam, which Backup took down with no problem at all. With Unk scurrying away with his tail between his legs yet again, I had one more battle before I could leave Silph Co for good. I moved the team around a bit, switching out Shock and Backup for my Marowak and Gyarados, and then I headed back into the building. Waiting for me, right past where I whooped Unk's ass, was the big boss of the place, Giovanni. Cubert was able to kill the Nidorino in 2 hits with Bone Club, and then I switched into Guts for Kangaskhan. He got clobbered by a Mega Punch, but I took a gamble on not only being faster, but cross-chop landing, which was a move with 80% accuracy. Luckily, they do call me the Gambler, and it worked perfectly, taking the Kangaskhan out in a single hit. AI was able to take down the Rhyhorn up next with a quick Hydro Pump, and it was down to Giovanni's final Pokemon, a Nidoqueen. It poisoned AI instantaneously, so I did a little bit of damage with Dragon Rage before swapping over to Plum. This motherfucker got hit with a Body Slam and got paralyzed before it even got a single move off. I decided to gamble once again, and Giga Drain managed to go off through the paralysis. I got super lucky the next turn with my Giga Drain landing a critical hit, and one more was able to take down Giovanni for good. At this point in the game, I had a lot of back-to-back battles with few encounters left, so I headed straight into the 6th gym with a reworked team. This gym has a bit of a weird puzzle layout, with random teleporter pads bringing you to another random teleporter pad. The goal is to find the correct one to bring you to the gym leader at the middle, and I just brute forced my way through it while avoiding all of the trainers. Now, remember that Beedrill I found a while back? The one I said was straight ass? We just touched on him. He fucking destroyed 2 of her Pokemon before getting absolutely touched by her Alakazam. Rest in peace, soldier. AI got sent out to do some damage with Bite, but that didn't work for too long. So this is fully dependent on it not critting us. I switched out for Raticate since AI was not looking good, and I completely forgot Sabrina had a Hyper Potion. But even with Alakazam back to full health, I was ready for Raticate to put up some nice damage numbers. Yeah, all that was left of Raticate was a pile of atoms on the floor, so I switched Doug Trio in since he had Dig, a move that let him burrow underground to avoid attacks for a turn and then hit on the next one. He did get a hit off, and then got fucking obliterated. Pichu was our last hope here, actually outspeeding the Alakazam to hit a flamethrower for the final kill. The last member of Sabrina's team was a Venomoth, and in a newborn baby versus nuclear bomb level matchup, Charizard fucking torched this thing. Sabrina was down, but we had taken heavy casualties here. To fill up our newly emptied slots, I finally evolved my Eevee into Jolteon, and subbed in a Drowsy as well. I was finally able to use my Pokeflute, waking up a Snorlax and capturing it, naming it Fatty. There were so many trainers on this next route that I accidentally over-leveled my Charizard, meaning he now couldn't be used for the upcoming gym. Luckily, I had backup for this exact reason, so I did a quick swap out and I was ready for the 7th gym. The puzzle in this one blows. It's just an invisible maze with trainers waiting all around, which means I can't brute force my way through and have to fight every single one of them. My strategy here was to just play it super carefully and fight one trainer at a time, go back and heal, and then repeat the process until they were all dead. This was also a great strategy because my Pokemon kept getting poisoned. But I was finally able to make it to Koga, the gym leader. I'd evolved my Drowsy into a Hypno, and since Psychic was strong against Poison, I led with him. What I didn't realize was how fucking goated Keyword was. This dude blew through the gym, and even with Koga using a Hyper Potion, he still one-shot the ace of his team. After that absolute blowout, it was time to head into one of my favorite zones of the game, the Safari Zone. This is an area made up of 4 different sub-zones. Each one is filled with different types of Pokemon, and you're given 30 Safari Balls when you first enter. The catch is that you can't take more than 500 steps. When you do, you're instantly teleported out of the area and it's considered complete. This means that I could get a little creative with the Nuzlocke rules regarding the captures here. The rule I decided on was this. I could enter and use all 30 of my Pokeballs trying to catch as many Pokemon as I could. Once I either ran out of steps or ran out of Pokeballs and the area was complete, I could then look at all of the Pokemon I had captured and take one out to add to my team. The issue with capturing Pokemon, however, is that these Safari Balls are fucking awful. You also aren't actually fighting the Pokemon in here. You can instead throw a rock or bait at them. Rocks make the Pokemon more likely to flee, but easier to catch, and bait does the opposite. Less likely to flee, but harder to catch. The strategy I found to be the most effective was just throw 2 rocks and then try to capture. If they fled, it was fine because that meant you hadn't wasted any Pokeballs. I could also do this without technically wasting any steps. If I stood in place and flicked a direction, turning my character without moving, it didn't deduct from my 500 step total, but it did allow me to have random encounters. By utilizing this tech, I had 3 goals for Pokemon I wanted to catch. An Execute for Grass Psychic typing, a Scyther because it looked cool, and a Nidoran or Nidorina. Not just anyone though. I was looking for one with the modest nature. This would make its final evolution, Nidoking or Nidoqueen, a crazy endgame tank. I was able to snag the Execute and Scyther without too much trouble, and was able to get 13 Nidorans, named 1 through 10, and then L, Twa, and Th, respectively. With all my balls used, it was time to look through all the Nidorans and check their natures. Adamant, Gentle, Hardy, Bold, Adamant, Jolly, Brave. Are we serious? I didn't get a single fucking one. Since all of their natures were pretty ass, honestly, I opted to take the Execute because of the Grass Psychic typing. Now I had to head back to the Safari Zone, this time to find 2 key items I needed to progress through the game. One of them was in this house that took me so long to find I started to run out of steps. After that devastating occurrence, I headed in once again, making it to the house this time with steps to spare. One of the items was right outside, a pair of gold teeth I could use later. Much later. I forgot to use them. The other was one single step away from where I made it last time. This guy gave me TM03, Surf, which will allow me to cross bodies of water. Before I explored anything new with this, I realized I had missed a Pokemon that I really wanted on my team. I headed back to Silph Co, and in the room that I fought Unk, this random hostage gave me Lapras, a water ice type Pokemon that would be insanely good for the Elite Four. I also headed back to Celadon City to grab a Firestone that would allow me to evolve back up into an Arcanine. With my team upgrades, I surfed down to my next location, Cinnabar Islands. This place was home to a scientist with a special machine that could turn the fossil I had into a Kabuto, and the random piece of amber I had grabbed way back into an Aerodactyl. I headed into the Pokemon Mansion where I grabbed a secret key that allowed me to unlock the front doors to this town's gym. I whipped up a team made specifically to counter this gym's fire types, which included a Tentacruel I had caught while surfing over here. I could luckily avoid all of the trainers here by answering quiz questions correct with my endless knowledge of the Pokemon franchise. Yes. 9 certified, yes. Wait. Oh, there's 8, dude, I'm fucking dumb. With the quiz questions all answered, the second to last gym leader was awaiting me. This old ass motherfucker named Blaine. I led with AI, who we gambled on a hydro pump with, and won, taking the Growlithe down in one hit. Ponyta was next, and we did the exact same thing. When Rapidash came out, AI finally missed a hydro pump. But you know the next turn, we just did the exact same thing. It lived with barely 1 HP, so Blaine was able to heal it up with a potion. With hydro pump down to 1 PP, it all came down to one last gamble. And it paid off, baby! It's worth mentioning here that I completely forgot to level up before this fight. So AI was coming into this 2 levels below the max, leveling up once from the 2 kills. That meant Blaine's ace, a level 47 Arcanine, was a serious threat, because the rest of my team was also pretty underleveled. I swapped out for Poop, since he was the Pokemon I was least concerned about losing. He ate a takedown, and then hit the Arcanine with a super effective Bubble Beam. This only got it to the yellow level of its health bar, which was great, because Blaine would only use a potion to heal if the health dropped down to the red section of the health bar. What I didn't realize was the takedown it was about to hit me with would also do a little bit of recoil damage. Just enough, in fact, to get that health bar right down to the red. Somehow, I was still in a good position though, because Tentacruel not only lived with 3 health, but Blaine also had no potions left. I was faster, and I got a free attack since he used his turn healing. The next turn, I outsped him to deal a finishing blow, and with that, I had beaten 7 of the 8 gym leaders. We were nearing the end game now, and I wanted to keep the momentum going. I taught Aerodactyl Fly and headed back to where it all began, Vermilion City. With the same team that just took out Blaine, I entered the 8th and final gym. There's no weird gimmick with this one, just some easy-ass trainer battles before I came face-to-face with the final gym leader, who I'd actually fought before, Giovanni. I used Surf, and used it again, and again. It didn't quite one-shot Nidoqueen, so Giovanni was able to use a potion, but I got insanely lucky with a crit. A light shines from the heavens today. Nidoking was no match for AI and died insanely fast to 2 Surfs, and with that, I had officially beaten every single gym. Now it was time to prep for the end game. I called my Pokemon Master roommate in, and we spent damn near 2 hours, my apologies to my viewers, scheming over every single Pokemon in my box, every TM, every item I had, trying to make the best possible team for the Elite Four. If you don't know, when you start the Elite Four battles, you are locked into the same team for all of them. And in this game, after the Elite Four, I have to fight Unk one final time with that same team. That meant I had 5 massive battles in a row with the same team, no switching. That meant we had to assemble a team that was ready for 5 battles of all different typings and movesets. But even before all of that, I had to fight my rival one last time before the Elite Four. For my final battles, I drafted a team of heavy hitters: Pichu, Alcoholic, Fatty, Fort, AI, and Gamble. With them ready, I headed over to face Unk for the penultimate time. He led with Pidgeot per usual, and Fort just blasted him out of the air with Thunder. I swapped to AI for a Surf one-shot against the Rhyhorn, and then did the exact same thing against his Growlithe. For some reason, I decided to use Dragon Dance here, which doesn't even buff up his attacks, since all of AI's moves are special, but Execute put him to sleep anyway, so I swapped over to Pichu. He took the Execute out with one Flamethrower, and then it was back to Fort to one-shot the Blastoise with another Thunder. Last up was Unk's Alakazam, who also got one-shot with a massive Thunder attack. Now, if you've never played Fire Red before, you're probably thinking, I get to head straight to the Elite Four. You'd think, right? You'd actually be wrong. I now had to go through the worst area in the entire game, Victory Road. Not only is the access to this area blocked by a ton of uneven gates, so I can't just sprint through them, but I've also got to surf over random water patches. It's fucking dumb. And that's not even the worst part. I then had to go into the hellscape of a cave where you have to do this horrendous boulder pushing puzzle, which you need the HM strength for, which I didn't even have. I flew back to Fuchsia City to give the warden those golden teeth I had gotten from the Safari Zone ages ago to receive the HM, and I headed back in to start the puzzle. Did I forget to mention that there's 8 million trainers spread around these caves too? What ensued was a painful hour of fighting trainers, fucking up the rock puzzle an embarrassing amount of times, and overall, just straight suffering. Oh yeah, there's also random encounters too! And I was out of repels, and I did not want to fly all the way back to the nearest city to get more. But after all this suffering, I finally made it. Holy shit. It was time for the end game. Lorelei was up first with a team of water and ice Pokemon. That meant Fort could really shine here, taking out both Dugong and Cloyster in one hit. This is also where the false sense of confidence comes in, because I did not expect this absurdly tanky Slowbro to come out, and this is what lost me my previous run. The Gambler again! What? Fort ended up missing his first 2 attacks, and after Slowbro hit us with Yawn, it was time to swap out. AI tapped in, and even though Bite is a super effective move, Slowbro is tanky as fuck. I used Bite a few more times until Slowbro hit Yawn again, and then swapped into Alcoholic, who had Safeguard. This move prevents all status effects for 5 turns, including Sleep, but Slowbro hit me with a Yawn before my turn. My move still went off, but since Yawn had hit first, Alcoholic took a snooze. My strategy here was to use Ice Beam to do some damage and try and freeze Slowbro, but what I didn't realize was how little damage Ice Beam was going to do. So, I swapped back to AI and went back to the Bite strategy. Bite again. Crit. Oh my god! After that insanely lucky crit, I predicted Lorelei would use a full restore and use the turn to Dragon Dance to buff up my attack for Bite. Or that's what I thought would happen. Remember earlier when I said Dragon Dance actually buffs up the normal attack stat and Bite is actually a special attack? Yeah, I didn't realize that until later. After a ton of swapping in and out, activating Safeguard to prevent sleep, and slowly chipping away, I brought in my goat Fatty to do some serious damage. Were we Dragon Dancing a move that didn't get Dragon Dance? Yeah. After finally learning the unfortunate truth, Fatty took out Slowbro, and Lorelei sent out Lapras. Fatty did some damage, but got confused, and I got to a point where I had to gamble on him breaking out of the confusion to use Rest and Heal. This basically turned into a stall out where I'd do a bit of damage with Body Slam, and then gamble on a Rest going through the confusion. The gamble somehow worked, and Lapras went down. It was now down to Lorelei's last Pokemon, Jinx. The second I attempted to bring Alcoholic out, he apparently needed another nap because this motherfucker got put to sleep yet again. Luckily, Fatty was ready to pick up some of the slack and came in to absolutely obliterate the Jinx with 2 Body Slams. With her last Pokemon down, we had officially beat Lorelei. With the level cap now up to 56, I could finally evolve Gamble into his final form, Dragonite. It was now time to fight Bruno. Alcoholic was able to quickly take out his Onix with an Ice Beam, and I switched to AI for his Hitmonchan. I hit him with a quick Surf and got super lucky with him missing Rock Tomb. That let me get enough Surfs off to take him out, and I swapped over to Fort for Machamp. Thunder did a ton of damage, and also proc Paralysis, and then he missed a Cross Chop. Shockwave almost took him out, and he somehow missed another Cross Chop. Any of those could have killed Fort, so I was absolutely gambling here. Bruno had a full restore, and it seemed my luck had finally run out because Fort missed a Thunder and Cross Chop finally connected, taking out Fort completely. AI got sent back out to renew my luck, landing a critical hit Surf. Rock Tomb nearly took him out, so I tried to outplay the AI. I assumed, since he knew Rock Tomb would be super effective against AI, that's what he would use to go for the kill, instead of his fighting type moves. Meaning, I could switch into Fatty, leave a Rock Tomb, and then do damage instead of just instantly dying to a Cross Chop. That didn't work out too well. If he pulls a fighting move out, I'll just be... how? Dude, what fucking AI are we running against here? With another member of my team down, I called Pichu in to use Flamethrower for the kill. The rest of his team was laughable, with Hitmonlee going down to a single wing attack, and his other Onix getting taken out with Alcoholic's Ice Beam. Bruno was finally down. The but we had taken heavy casualties. I was heading into these next battles with 4 of my 6 starting members. That meant I had to be insanely careful and play as smart as possible. My next opponent was this old-ass woman named Agatha, who specialized in ghost-type Pokemon. AI did some decent damage to her Gengar with Bite, but the issue was this thing had Toxic. It's a poison move that does a super small amount of poison damage at first, but scales up every turn to do some serious damage as time goes on. Agatha used a full restore on her Gengar, and since AI was taking quite a bit of poison damage, I swapped to Gamble. Gengar also kept spamming Double Team, making its evasion super high and it much harder to hit. Wing Attack somehow hit, taking Gengar down to half, but Gamble started missing moves and got hit with Toxic. I was luckily able to get another Wing Attack off, taking Gengar down, but 2 of my 4 Pokemon were badly poisoned. Agatha's Golbat instantly hit Gamble with Confuse Ray, but true to his name, a Gamble on a Wing Attack paid off for some damage. I swapped him out to avoid the poison, switching in Alcoholic to use Safeguard. Unfortunately, Golbat's Air Cutter walloped me with a crit, but I was able to get Safeguard off. Air Cutter hit another crit the next turn, but Alcoholic took Golbat down with an Ice Beam. Her Arbok came out next, and since it had poison moves and I already had some poison Pokemon, I swapped in AI. He was able to get some damage in with Surf, but Toxic was dealing way too much poison damage, so I had to swap him out with Pichu. Safeguard was luckily still in effect, so Sludge Bomb wasn't able to poison him. 1 Fire Blast was enough to obliterate this thing, and Agatha sent out her second Gengar. A Fire Blast brought this thing down insanely low, and even though I took some damage to Sludge Bomb, I got super lucky. Like I said before, the AI only use potions when their Pokemon's health bar is in the red. If it's in the yellow, they don't care. This Gengar actually had a berry that brought its health from the red zone to the yellow, allowing Pichu to take it down with a flamethrower instead of her healing it to full. Even though I called in Gamble, who was already poisoned, and Agatha had an extra full restore to heal this thing, the only scary part of this Haunter was how fast it died to Wing Attack. After defeating Agatha, I spent at least an hour trying to figure out what I could do to win against the final member of the Elite Four, Lance. This was actually one of the luckiest and craziest battles I've ever had in Pokemon, so I'll let the clips speak for themselves. Massive, that's exactly what we need. Massive. Critical hit there. Oh my god, we're getting so lucky. Critical hit there, oh my god, that's huge. Paralyzed. Now we go Wing Attack. Hyper Beam. Okay, it's got to turn to charge up. It basically just sacked for that. Ooh, I forgot to get Hyper Beam. That's really annoying. Flamethrower. He's got to turn to reset anyway, and he's down a full restore. I'm going to do this. Ready? Ancient Power. Okay. I need to gamble on a Blizzard. Use Ancient Power again. It shouldn't kill me. I will live with a little bit of health. Please land. Please land. Please land. Blizzard lands. Okay. I need this to do significant damage. Just like that. Beautiful. I gamble on a Blizzard. I'm faster. It lands. Please. Please. I need either a freeze or a one-hit. We have a pretty good level advantage. Yes. Yes. We're faster. We just need this. If this Blizzard doesn't land, we probably lose the game. Ice Beam could land. I just don't know if it will kill here. We have a 6 level difference, but the power difference is what's killing me. Yes! It kills. For the Intimidate. Uses Outrage. Pichu. We go Dragon Claw. We're faster. Okay. It's confused. Please hurt itself. Please hurt itself. Oh my god. Use Dragon Claw again. Okay, Peeko, I was looking forward to seeing you. My rival should be strong to keep me sharp. Working on my Pokedex looked all over Pokemon. Only that I assembled teams that would beat any Pokemon type, and now I'm Pokemon League champion. He has Aerial Ace. Does a little bit of damage. I really need this to either kill or freeze. Ooh. Okay, he burned a turn on full restore. That's good. If we get a high roll, this can kill. Right there. Critical hit. The gods above bless me on this beautiful night. We've got Rhydon, who's a ground rock type. He's dual weak to water. We're going to gamble on a hydro pump. And it lands. And it lands. And it kills. Executor. Grass Psychic. We're going to switch to Pichu. Oh, it missed Sleep Powder. Flamethrower. Oh my god, and it kills. I'm going to do AI for the Intimidate. It probably uses Hydro Pump. Yep. Does no damage. It's just using Hydro Pump. We're going to switch out to Alcoholic. We're going to go Hydro Pump. Yep. A critical hit. We're going to go Hydro Pump again. Uses Rain Dance. It missed. That's fine. We're going to go Hydro Pump again. Uses Bite. I flinched. Hydro Pump again. Uses Bite. Don't make me flinch twice, man. It missed. We're just going to go Ice Beam. Bit me again. Oh my god, he got frozen. We're going to go Ice Beam again. He has full restore. I need another freeze. I need this blizzard to hit. It hits. Come on, baby. And it crit. Oh my god. We're gonna gamble on a blizzard again. He just bites again, as long as this doesn't flinch me. That's fine. We need this blizzard to land. Bit me again, don't flinch. Yes! We needed this to land. Not very effective, but that's okay. We go Ice Beam. He has another full restore. That's nauseating, truly. That's not good, I will say. What we need here is either a crit or a freeze. I need this to hit. 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 Yes! I needed that damage. Don't flinch me. I'm gonna do this. Ready? Because he's gonna attack. As long as we're faster. Yes. It's not very effective, but that should kill. No, it doesn't. We do it again. 95. We need to gamble on a Fire Blast. We need a Fire Blast to hit. Oh my god, it hit. Does it one shot, though? That's the question. Almost. It uses Future Sight. That's okay. We use Flamethrower. Does this guy have infinite full restores? Holy shit. We use Flamethrower. Flamethrower again. Because we're faster. An Arcanine. Goes Intimidate. Future Sight still lands. We use our Dragon move. Okay, that outspeeds. Does it kill is the question. No, it doesn't. We're gonna need to sack here. It uses Extreme Speed again. That kills. That's fine. And we use Surf. Don't kill. Don't kill. Don't kill. Don't kill. It doesn't kill. I think this kills. We still live this. Unless it's a crit. Oh my god. 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 I have no words. I'm shaking so bad. Yes! We pulled out, against all odds, a victory. We had so many. Dude, if there was one move that went wrong, one more move that missed, something that didn't freeze, an extra flinch, we would not have won that. That was the luckiest series of battles I have ever seen in my life. And with that, we have successfully beaten Pokemon Fire Red Set Mode Nuzlocke Edition.